Good Sunday morning, 6th day after Epiphany, and I am here to make a profound apology. I'm ashamed of myself. I did this about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, but it dragged on too much. I'll just make this short and simple, but I have, the last couple of videos, I think I have sounded unkind, lacking in compassion and understanding, because I know what it's like to be tricked by the devil and deceived and intrigued, or even just mildly go along, like with this one doctor in my hometown who was from India, but people said, oh, he's New Age, and I thought, oh, I don't worry about that, big deal, or, and I'll find out for myself. And he was such a wonderful man, caring and more homeopathic in his approach, which I really liked, and also spiritual, very spiritual. But yes, he did. He did bring in other things. And even religion. He was very taken up with Sufism and ultimately wanted me to be, but then, started warning me not to tell people. He lived near me, invited me over. His wife was in their other home in the nearby city, and he was older, but, started complimenting me, and then did some weird thing, had me watch the Sufi dancing, and then did some weird thing of blowing on my back, and it was getting beyond even right. And, he was coming on to me in a strange way. And, but before that, he told me, now don't tell anyone that I see you like this or anything. And all of a sudden I thought, oh, good grief, what a naive nitwit I am. After all I had been through with other situations, and I'm trusting, and I had converted to Catholicism, and he had been, and of course I thought that I could help him come back. That's usually what I do. I think, well, I can help this person. I can help this person. Well, pride, egoism on my part, hopefulness, yes, I was very sincere, very genuine person, always wanting to help others and to have purpose and to give of myself. All the more that I am, have had my active life stopped. But no, no, I get into more trouble. God wanted me as a hermit. Even then, I wasn't then, but so I never saw him again. Not for medicine, and I think he might have called a couple of times to talk on the phone, and he could tell I had just put the curtain down. That was it. And I realize even with Dr. H, he's intrigued by New Age. It's intriguing. You want to think that all these things could work, and some of them make sense, and they sidle alongside faith, Christianity, God. They include God. And so it's just one of those things that I have learned, not for me at all. Not at all. And it's a deceptive and can be deceptive, very much so. But here was this viewer who very much into it. And I just feel bad that I said things, even in videos, and was pushing hoping to get this person to get away from it. The person doesn't want to, and we have free will. Mercy, no barky, honey. We have our free will and can choose how we want to use it. And here I realized the person's younger, had more comments back in the night, another series of comments and resentments, and I realized that it was a losing proposition for me to try to get through to this person and to try to help the person understand. Don't go down this path. Stay clear of it. And if you're going to listen to things online, if you're a Christian or even, educated or wise, prudent, listen to and read books that are credible, people who have actual experience plus education in the field of it, theology or science or whatever it is that you're intrigued by. Early religions, world religions, civilizations, go to those who know, who are highly educated in those. And then it's less likely you're going to get consumed by the newness to you, say, of the Mayan text, sacred text, or their civilization. And then you won't be blindsided by these ideas that everyone was in cohesion back then, and we're terrible now. The churches are against it, of course, intimating that I am also against other religions. I'm not, but I know what I am, and I'm very well aware my time is short, and it's always short because we never know when we're going to be taken out of this world or limited in some way. Stroke, or when young, an aneurysm can happen, or an accident that causes brain injury. So you aren't able to read or to listen and use your cognitive gifts of brain and sense. So, and I realized I had never asked this person, "Are you a Christian?" who came on to this this video site. So I explained, this is what you will expect from me. Christianity, I'm Christian. And I'm not these other things. I realized the person thought that I was going to be a buddy and be excited with her about these things, these New Age stuff. And she's in total denial of the New Age aspects of what she'd been listening to and taking in and going with it. Not the Mayan history, that's fact. Not other things she'd bring up that were fact, not those. It's the gobbledygook, I call it. The New Age, the theories, the opinions, the imaginative ideologies that people come up with. And, just pointing out the person's books are published with this Louise Hayes Publishing, her own publishing company. She was New Age, so she got her own books published. And if you have something really legitimate that's not New Age, you're going to find a reputable publisher. I've mentioned that before in videos. So, but the person, again, I apologized to the person yesterday late in comments a couple of times. How sorry I was that I seemed so, I was rude. I was very direct, blunt at times. And part of that for me, and I even said, was thinking I could shock her, shake her out to see. Why even spend that much time on, if you're interested in that topic, get quality on it. Not this guy that is all over the place, but making money through other gullible people. I know, I have been there. I didn't read that kind of stuff, but even Joseph Campbell, he was very trendy in the late 80s and 90s. And what now? Not. And I saw through. But, I have to allow other people to learn the hard way. I guess it breaks my heart, but I am a Christian, and so that's what this channel is. I can't expect other things of me. I'm aware of other things. I'm not opposed what other people choose. I would prefer not. I thought that doctor, he could have really reached many people, especially in that area of the country, by getting away from his exploration with New Age. But that's what he chose to do. And then to get into these other religions and leave Christianity in a very Christian area. He didn't make it there. I saw him when I had moved the city, and I ran into him. I don't know if he recognized me or not. He was with his wife, and he was very ill. I could see immediately that he didn't have long, that I could tell he had cancer. And he looked very alone, forlorn, and defeated. And I didn't say anything, but I prayed and prayed that he would come back to Christianity and at least have hope and joy, and be able to choose the way he would pass, and not so defeated and as if he'd been lost. He'd lost. And then I noticed maybe 2 or 3 months later he had passed, or somebody had said he had. But we have choices. And he had warned me about Catholicism and all this in a different way. He had been Catholic, but left it. He had a cousin, also a doctor, and his wife, who are still Catholic, and very devout, but that doctor got into trouble morally. With a sex scandal, actually, but paid the price and in a way was set up. The word was that this office manager, he had promised her, she had thought he had, that he would leave his wife with their affair, and he didn't. And so she went to the police and cried rape. And he was not, he was put under house arrest for a year, lost his license. He was 63, lost his license when he was 64, remained in the small town with his wife, going to church, having, been forgiven, and learned a big lesson. You can't make promises or get all into something and can't necessarily trust the other person in that situation. Women, if they think that you're going to divorce your wife and you don't, they can be very vindictive. Women can be. So that's life, sin. So I'm sorry how I've approached it. I realized I did not handle this with this woman, this young person in the young woman in my videos, well, the comments and things. During the night, she got even worse with another. Every time she would keep saying goodbye, I'm not going to say anything. Then she'd come back with more. Not at all happy with me. The devil wasn't happy with me because I took it on, directly with this person and the New Age elements, and trying to really get the person to at least listen to and read quality in whatever field she found fascinating by this New Age guy, that he would bring in these other ideas. But no, and it just got more and more ugly. And so I kept saying, I'm not going to engage anymore with this. I apologized, but then here came more. So I ended up having to cut the person off from my videos, from commenting, and realized I did not handle it well. And I realized there's really no winning, nothing much you can say most of the time with people who get into New Age. It's a losing battle verbally, and the best way is just for me to just shut up and pray for this person who goes by enough, and for all who get hooked up into New Age. And I don't care what religion, but New Age is not a religion, and the devil is involved in it. And that's what gets me most and gets me more concerned than anything, is it is a known lead in and trap of the devil. It's so cunning, so deceptive, imitating things. And like Dr. H will talk about God, or he won't say the word God, but force or create, universal good, or and there's some kind of an animus in people that they don't want to come right out and call God or Jesus, or because they so put down people who are, say, evangelical or fundamental Bible people. I don't. My sister is a fundamental, and her husband, and she has endured she was born, I'm sure, born with melancholy, with depression, brain chemical mix-up, depletions of certain brain chemistry elements, and they discovered it finally. I think when she had extensive testing, she finally had a major breakdown in 1990. Not long after the birth of her third child. And it was major, but I remember from my earliest memories, she was sad, would be sad at times. But then she had wonderful friends, and she was very sensitive. She was affected by my mother's flaw, temper, that really affected my sister. My eldest sister handled it by butting up against it and actually made it worse than. I handled it by, codependent type, or try to be the peacemaker, keep everything calm, just go along. Don't rile. Do what I knew she wanted and keep it, even with dating in high school. If she thought if I had a date two times with someone, it was like, oh no, she wanted us all to get through college and to have good lives, but she was extreme, worried in that way, and so I just didn't bother. I thought, I'll just wait till I'm in college. But then I didn't really have much experience, with guys, so that worked against me. but it kept things calm with my mother and dad. My dad was sort of like that. So I had two boyfriends that they had broken off, and I just didn't. But then they'd want me to go to the swinging and dance and all that, and that's all that noise and enclosed space. That wasn't, I didn't understand. But my spiritual sensitivities, that wasn't my thing at all. All of that noise and people in close proximity, and what was the point, in having any too many crushes? It's going to be cut off anyway. So, and I knew, I was very logical, so I just went along with things, went with the flow. I didn't. My eldest sister didn't, and it was always uproar with her. Peace when she went to college. My mother, wasn't in rile mode as much, not at all, but still could have her temper over other things, even in the news or with politics. So that was her flaw. A control issue was it from childhood. I understood it. Why? So I can always handle things if I understand. So I didn't do that, though, with this person who was leaving, left this site to go to on my site, on the comments. I don't want anything that's going to have other people go to New Age. They can go on their own if they wish. It's not going to come from me, because I know how the devil is. I know how dangerous it is, and I know what it can do to people around someone who has evil in them, who the devil has gotten in, even in a mild oppression, oppress the person, or manipulating the person, or in worse levels, low-level possessions that are very, other people, well, finally other people in the neighborhood knew the lady next to me had targeted me, and it was all lies what she was spreading about me for all those 6 years I was there. But at first they didn't, and they didn't. If I had said she's demonically possessed, people really want to deny the devil. It's too scary to think about the devil, if the devil's real. But we need to know. And those of us who do know, then that's why I thought, well, I'll shock it out of this person. I'll blunt it, be blunt with her finally. But that didn't work either. So I'm still learning how to handle things. But I apologize, because I think I sounded sarcastic probably, and I used the examples. It was just this gal was giving me examples with every comment back of all the things that I knew that New Age people do when they're hooked, but they don't realize it. When they realize it's the devil in them doing it, when the devil realizes that I'm not falling for it, and that I'm not having anything to do with it, and that it's not going to be on my video site. All the guilt, the put downs, then the blaming, and then got really nasty, the one in the middle of the night, that I took all of it down, that I've taken all her comments down. And there was another one again this morning, I took it down, and over and done, and then I put a block. She can't leave any more comments now. But she can listen, probably is, and I'm sorry, the way that I should have just cut her off right away. I should have ascertained immediately, are you a Christian? Because I wondered with the first comment. The person's handle was enough. And wow, I had enough of enough. But by the end of it, but, I should have ascertained, because it was very bizarre to have someone saying the things she was saying when I knew the only one born that I knew of in Christianity was the Virgin Mary who had the gifts she had. And it seemed very unlikely. But, I thought give benefit of the doubt. But then soon enough, she admitted. But I don't think it registered with her that she had lied, was deceived. Her own self was deceived. When you get into New Age, you don't know anymore. You lose a sense of reality and truth yourself. The devil does that. It's like creating a cloud, or as Jesus, the scales drop from the eyes. Put scales over the eyes. You don't see things rationally or in truth or honestly, in reality anymore, even of your own self. So, but it was would be a textbook case all the way down, even the reaction then, when I was my brick wall against it. And when I then even did my own push. Wow. The devil really reacted to that. It's not worth it. It's not worth the energy and the time. I realize it's just, it's a losing battle. The better battle is prayer. Prayer and making sacrifices of love, fasting, and different other things, and just turning more to God. That's really the best, so that's what I'm doing. But I want you to know that I recognized that I had, in my trying to get this person to realize, and then to show through my videos how it was unfolding, even the tricks, when we don't cave to what they want, or we're not going to join in with what they're so excited about and are so sure that we'll join in. But keep an open mind. They say keep an open mind, which is one of the first clues. Don't want to go into anything with your mind all open, because that we have to discern things. We have to use our intellect and our will then. That's the one part that God gives that the devil is not allowed to manipulate unless we give over to the devil. So no, you don't have just a wide open mind and walk into danger naked, vulnerable, easily seduced or taken advantage of, or your mind then infiltrated and scales put on your eyes because you've been so open and naive. I know this from myself. So, okay. Just wanted to say that I'm ashamed of myself for how I handled it. I've learned a very good lesson now on how dealing with New Age again. Nip it in the bud as soon as you get some flack back. And yes, there were good things in what this man was, truth in what this man was saying, facts from early civilization. But also then he added in a lot of malarkey, baloney, untruths, and had this person believing it, though, and idealizing all that time period and the Mayan civilization and their sacred text, and then hating our time period all the more, and then thinking that I too was part of it, this division. I don't hold any division within Christianity, and I respect people who are in other religions, world religions, and even when they get into philosophies. That's their free will. But they're not pushing it down my throat or thinking that and expecting me to be all in with it with them either. They respect me. So that's a big difference with New Age. They don't respect boundaries. They keep hounding. They want company. The devil wants to gain everyone. And so he goes after anyone who believes in God, and especially Christians. Figure out why. Well, the devil hates Christianity, hated Christ. Christ was his big enemy, and the mother of Christ, the woman who bore Christ, the Christ bearer, the God bearer, Theotokos. That's why Mary is so effective against the devil. God bless his real presence in us. Have a beautiful day. I'm going to push myself. My truck is needed. Precious blood is needed to pick up tile and possibly 2 toilets for someone. And to and to lend a sander and maybe help out a little bit. We'll see. I'm on my 2nd day now of my better antibiotic, the one that should help 100% rather than up to 80% for this sinus infection. So I'm going to try to build up some stamina physically today. Beautiful sunshine today. The dogs are going to go along, even though they'll be in the truck. They can at least watch, people watch, and look out the windows. I'll open the windows. They get treats, and they'll get to run in the little tiny townhome yard. But I can't leave them out there because they start banging and barking, and the next person in the townhome, elderly woman, is very bothered by anything that's out of normalcy, or out of how she's used to it. So I don't want any problems for the person who lives in the townhome with her neighbor, because my 2 pups, my hooligans, who all the longer they've been in here with me have become even more barky, as you have noticed in the videos. They see something. They're just snoozing here on the bed now. They've had a very big treats for breakfast. So enjoy life and stay with God, stay with Christ.